Welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC. I hope you enjoyed the event so far. Before we dive into the next session, again, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all partners and speakers. We cannot do this without you. If you really like the content, please subscribe to our CSC membership, where you can get loads of templates, framework, on-demand videos, and be able to rewatch all the presentation sessions for this event. So head over to customersuccesscollective.com and treat yourself there. So sit back, and here's the next session. Hello, everyone. Again, welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC. Next up, we have Lawrence here with us, the Customer Success Manager from Financial Times. Hi, Lawrence. How are you doing today?
Hi, Ryan. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Doing great today. Looking forward to the session myself.
Sounds great. We look forward to what you got to say about customer communications and engagement. Can't wait to learn from you, man.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
Cheers.
So, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for taking the time to attend my session today. I hope you've all had your lunch, and I'll try not to make this too boring for you. So basically, I'm here today. My name is Lawrence from Customer Success Team here in Financial Times. And what I'll be talking about today is basically customer communications and engagement. Basically, what I'm talking about here today is based on my own experience and covering the different regions that I'm covering. So it might differ for different people, but this is what I've experienced and what works for me. And just to let you know as well, as I'll be doing the presentation, I don't think I'll be reading through your questions, but feel free to type in your questions, and I'll take your questions at the end of the presentation itself. Okay. So these are the three things that I'll be actually talking today. I've kind of broken down communication and engagement into two parts. So I'll be focusing more on communications first before moving on to engagement. And you can see from the titles I have on the screen, these seem familiar. They're actually quotes from movies. I'll see if anyone can actually make a guess which movies these are from and see who can get it all right. So three things to note. So first thing, these are quotes from movies. Number two, these will be the longest lines you will see within the slides today. Main thing is so that you can concentrate on my beautiful voice and listen to what I have to say. And number three, I'm using three as a magic number. I always believe that using three examples, three sets of things is easier to get things going. So the first part, what I do have are a very particular set of skills. This leads in nicely to what I have to say because I'm going to be talking about myself, give you a little bit of an introduction, and just to let you know where I actually come from. So about myself, I've actually been working in different roles. Started as sales, but the three major, I would say, career paths that actually shaped me to where I am today were from here: Service Source, Tableau, as well as Financial Times. I started with Service Source as more of an inside sales, doing renewals. And I moved on to Tableau, where I started also as inside sales, covering Greater China region, wearing multiple hats. So with these roles, I actually learned about objection handling, working with global teams, working with partners from different regions, doing cross-functional team collaboration, and all of these are all customer-facing. And that eventually, it was in Tableau that I actually got the first taste of a customer success role. And I think that's where I actually felt this is the role that suited more for me. Because as much as I like doing sales, it's still not something that I really want to go for. I still prefer that relationship building, establishing that kind of connection with the customer. That I think it brings it to a deeper level. And that's how I finally ended up with Financial Times as well. So I think some of you might be asking, why does Financial Times actually have a customer success team? So I was thinking exactly the same thing when I was approached for this role. I was even thinking, could this be a scam? But ever since I started working here, I have been learning a lot. So just a quick introduction about Financial Times, in case you didn't know. This is a UK publication, but it's now part of Nikkei Inc. And the whole Financial Times were known for opinion pieces, factual news. Wherever you read here, you don't have to fact check anywhere else. I don't want to sound too commercial. I'm not trying to sell anything here, but we do have 700 journalists around the world in 40 countries. And what the team I'm part of, we're part of the B2B digital team, and we work with corporate customers. So we provide digital access to businesses, governments, education institutions, and basically just allowing them access to content behind the paid wall. So I think in a way, the customer success team here functions just like any other SaaS-based company or tech company. It's just that the product that we're selling is slightly different. And some of the goals that our customer success team, we have quarterly goals that we always try to achieve. They always revolve around certain themes. And recently, the themes that we have are like acquire, retain, new services, transform, and team. So just to give an example, acquire would be related to some kind of pre-sales work. So as a customer success here, I do have to do some pre-sales work, such as doing a demo to a potential customer, regular stuff like onboarding, health checks, renewal conversations, trying to gather user feedbacks, as well as just gathering feedback from users who have attended certain FT events as well. So next part, you had me at hello. Leads in nicely to what I have to say as well. So this is more on the communication part. How do you start a conversation? How do you communicate with your customers? So this is what I have been doing with my users at Financial Times. So the basic ones are like emails, phone calls, virtual meetings. Well, in this current situation, it's more on virtual meetings. Previously, we still could do physical meetings. And what kind of information we try to communicate across? Well, some of these include new content updates, product updates, just checking in with customers. Um, but I still feel, in a way, certain things like conducting onboarding sessions in person was still a lot more effective because you have that to and fro kind of conversation, a more spontaneous environment. So once in a while, we do work closely with the marketing team as well. This is to help us with certain campaigns like LinkedIn campaigns or just creating a personalized landing page for the customers. And we also do a lot of emails for, like I mentioned earlier, about doing trials. We do send out surveys, just trying to gather feedback from the trialists to see how the trial was. But one thing I noted from a simple thing such as an email survey is that previously we would send out emails with a link to a Google form and ask the user to provide feedback. But we didn't really get that much feedback from them. But recently we tried something else where we just typed in the questions into the email, kept it simple, maybe about magic number three questions. And we actually got a lot more replies from these customers. I think it's easier for them to just type into the email and reply to us. So just some interesting fact that I actually found based on a survey done by a company called Litmus. The average time a person spends reading an email is about 13.4 seconds. And based on another survey done in the UK, the average attention span of a person in a meeting is about 14 minutes long. So this really shortens the time that we have to try to get the person's attention, try to get them interested and curious. So how long do you want your email to be? How long should your call or virtual meeting be? And a lot of these revolves around who are you trying to contact? What's the level of the contact you're trying to reach out to? What kind of role are they in? And this will ultimately determine how you want to structure your conversation or your email and how you want to communicate with them. So not only that, I think having a goal in mind when what you're trying to achieve before you reach out to them, that's also very important. Based on the conversations you had or based on the information you have, what are you trying to achieve from this email that you're sending out? Or what's the goal of having this call with your customer? So I've found this quote and I think it really resonated with me. Why I'll go into it shortly. But for me, based on my experience, I found that emails, if you make it a lot more personalized, you tend to get more responses from your customers. So I would always put myself in their shoes and try to understand what kind of messaging would I be more prone to replying to, what would keep me reading an email. And just adding in a simple line like, I'm not trying to sell you anything, like what I said earlier. So this is something that will make people, in a way, I feel, lower their defenses to you. Just making calls as well. We have to make a lot of calls, and sometimes these are cold calls. Uh, I believe many of you have received credit card company cold calls, and most of the time you're just telling them, "Oh, sorry, I'm not interested," or "I'm too busy now." So I always found that because they're always reading off a script, going like a machine gun speed, not letting you absorb anything that they're saying. But if you take it slow, starting with just introducing yourself, where you're calling from, and what you're trying to do with the call, I think this allows them to understand a bit better. And rather than just brush you off right away, they will sometimes still give you a bit of time to speak to them. So another thing that I found that was really effective was just trying to understand the customer's business, what their goals are, based on users' feedback within the same organization, just trying to understand what they're trying to achieve, and then putting it into your conversation. This will actually help. I think a lot of customers will appreciate the fact that you took the time and the trouble to actually understand their business. So this is why this quote really resonated with me. Being genuine, as I mentioned, just be yourself, be personable, be remarkable, and sometimes people will feel that this is someone that's worth connecting with. And this leads me to my next part, which is more to engagement. So this quote, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. So you've got your foot through the door, one foot through the door. What's next? How do you maintain that relationship? How do you keep them constantly engaged? So for us at Financial Times, the people that we usually reach out to or communicate with would include the end users themselves, stakeholders, and when I say stakeholders, these are people like the decision makers who decided to invest in a subscription with Financial Times, licensed admins. And what I mean by licensed admins, these are people who are just managing the subscription for the organization. They come from people within the admin departments or library resource team or even the learning and development team within the organization itself. And we try to engage with them, try to help them understand what they're trying to do with Financial Times, or at least try to align with their business goals, how to keep them interested, different ways that we can reach out to them. And of course, we're also not going to neglect the under-engaged users as well. So with this, the engagement, my overall understanding of what engagement is to try to help customers see the value of their investment in, well, right now is Financial Times, as well as the value of keeping in touch with us, the customer success team. So again, as I repeatedly told you, understanding the customer's organization objectives and the individual users' goals would be very helpful. So with end users, understanding what kind of information they're looking for, we will try to recommend content to them based on that information, or even newsletters, so that they can easily get information without having to always log in, or even just suggest to them what similar users in, well, other users in similar industries, how they're using the FT. We try to help them incorporate FT into their daily workflow, making it easier for them to find the information they need. Just even the simple task of checking if they're able to access their accounts. So this is where the under-engaged users come in. Sometimes it's just because they're not tech savvy. They forgot their password. They don't know how to reset the password, and they kind of just left it there. Especially so because FT is just a resource for them, so they tend to just forget about it. And it's also from the end users here that we try to find advocates, people who will help us sell FT within the organization itself. So licensed admins, these are, as I mentioned, these are people who are just managing the subscription for the organization. What they're more concerned about, whether the users are able to get access to the FT. Uh, we usually use data to show them that how how the users are using, what they have been busy with, what kind of information they've been looking at, As long as they see their users using, they'll be very satisfied, especially when it comes to renewal, when they have to report to the management. And lastly, this last group, the stakeholders, just understanding what drives them, what are they concerned about, why did they actually initially initiate the conversation with FT to purchase or invest in the FT. And again, this is also about using data to show them that their users are actually getting value from this. So for constant engagement, some ideas that we as a customer success team at FT have tried out, and these are the ones I'm showing to you because it worked for me. I think it was really effective for me. One of them was what we call an article discussion. So what is article discussion? Basically, I think the past 2 quarters, our management team came to us suggesting to us, okay, as a customer success manager, please go out, find an article within the FT or any other publication, and use that article to start a conversation with any of your users, any of your accounts. So initially, it was kind of scary because we're going to go into territory that we're not really sure of. For my first experiment, I actually chose an article regarding ESG. For those who don't know, ESG actually is about environment, social awareness, the impact investing, those kind of things. And using this article, I'm not really an expert on that topic, but I was reading the article, I found it interesting, and I drafted my email in such a way that I let people know that I don't really know much about this topic. I'm actually really open to learning more about it, and I was wondering whether you give me some of your time to actually explain this to me. And I was pleasantly surprised that quite a number of people actually replied to my email, and they were really passionate. I found some people who were really passionate about ESG, giving me links, telling me where I can find out more information about, and offering to just give me the time of day whenever I needed someone to talk to about ESG. And that actually helped to establish some relationships with customer, and from there I'm able to continue building that relationship with them. Subsequently, we had another article discussion. This time around, I decided to do it another way around. I did take an article from the FT. This time around, I took an article regarding cryptocurrency, actually, bitcoins, cryptocurrency. But this time around, I was reading through the comment section, and I found a lot of readers were actually saying FT doesn't know what they're talking about. They are writing nonsense about cryptocurrency, and I used this fact, put it in my email. I was asking the users, this is what I've been gathering from the comment section. Do you think this is true? If so, is there any other resources that I can actually refer to get more up to date information? So again, I was very pleasantly surprised that people came out, explained to me that that's not the fact. Where I can find out further information. I even managed to get on a phone call with a group of people who were really interested in cryptocurrency, and they were telling me a lot more. Probably I'll start investing soon. But the whole idea is it's not about knowing the topic really well, but just getting into the minds of these people, understanding their perspective. That really helped build this conversation and build this relationship with them. One other example that we tried to use was using FT events. So we do have this events arm of the FT called FT Live, and we always have they always organize different events in different months, and usually these are paid events. But once in a while, our team we are able to get our hands on free tickets. So we would use these events, try to reach out to our super readers or you readers who are really constantly using FT, just to ask them, are you interested in attending this event? If you are, I can actually get you free tickets to this. And in a way, it also helps us to start the conversation with them. Once they attend the event, we can also follow up just to see how they are. And from there, we start whatever conversation you want. You can take it whichever direction you want. So this next part is about tips and tricks, but it's more about things I picked up along the way, some ideas I copied off other people, and a bit generally because of the pandemic, I've been doing a lot of online shopping. I'm sure some of you have been as well. And what I've noticed is that some of these vendors they actually take the trouble. There's just little things that actually make you feel you're well looked after, and it makes sense. So one of this, I termed it under effective onboarding. So I was buying this item from this particular vendor, and it took a few weeks to actually be delivered to me. So 1 week before the item was delivered, they sent out an email to me asking if I wanted to book an appointment with their product expert who will actually show me how this product can be better leveraged. I can use it fully. I was thinking this actually was a very good idea, especially for our new users or people who are just renewing their licenses. I can try to change it in such a way that they can book an onboarding session with us, the customer success managers, and get to know certain things before their subscription start, and they can hit the ground running and start using it. So this was something that allowed me to put some kind of make it into an effective onboarding session for some of the users, just putting it in the email signature as well. Another one was, this was more related to a software company, just recommending tips and tricks. So I saw that they sent email to me recommending, oh, do you know there's a there's a tip to using certain functions within the software itself. So I try to picture it as one of our users. Instead of putting tips and tricks, which we don't really have a lot of functions, I could instead try to recommend content. And I tried in a way modified it to recommend read of the week. And I always put it in my email signature as well. And this gave quite a number of positive feedback from internally as well as externally. It helped to raise conversations, start conversations with our users as well. Some actually coming back saying that they would not have found the article if it wasn't for that little link at the bottom. Um, Last example I want to share is proactive engagement. This is where I think some of customer success managers in different companies, they'll use different softwares to book appointments with their customers. And some of these softwares allow you to just create a link and let your users access your calendar so they can directly book the link, book a slot on your calendar themselves. So this is where I decided, why don't we just put this link in our email signature, allowing them to access our calendar any point in time, and they can just book their appointment with us whenever they need to, instead of multiple emails back and forth, just trying to find out who is free at what time. So this is a lot easier right now. I've seen I have more people booking engagement with me, booking onboarding sessions with me. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. Basically, just to summarize, I think the three things that I actually learned from my whole customer success journey: personalizing your message, just making it about your customers and not your product. That will really help. Researching on who they are, who your customers are, who that person is, the roles that they're working in. That will also enable you to have better conversation, a more constructive conversation. And be open-minded, experiment, try out different ideas, different techniques on how to communicate with customers, how to retain the engagement with the customers. Look at how other companies are doing it, and even find out to see how your other colleagues in different regions are doing it. So what might not work for them might be able to work within your region. And well, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me. If you have any questions about the FT, or you'd like to start a conversation any related to customer success, feel free to link up with me on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Lawrence. It's great. It's a great presentation, and I hope everyone here enjoyed it. First things first, I can see a lot of people commenting on the three movies that you put up at the very beginning. I think Christopher got all three here, but
Yes,
just
he
to
did.
double check with you. Okay, well
Yes, he
done,
did. So
Christopher.
there's
10 points.
no prize, but if you're in Singapore, feel free to link up with me. I'll definitely treat you to a cup of coffee.
Well done, both of you. We got Lois here. I think Lois also joined our earlier session from PayPal. So he mentioned that in the previous session, Guru from PayPal mentioned to use AI for customer communication, while I still have doubts in it as it might feel too unnatural. What do you think of it? Is FT using AI bots for customer communication in most cases?
So, thank you for the question. Yeah, I have read about different AI softwares being able to help you create content or emails. So, in a way, I still feel that maybe the AI softwares right now in the market are still not up to the level yet. Because I have received certain AI emails. I mean, you can basically tell once you receive it, it sounds really there's no life to it, to the email, to the communication that you're getting, and it doesn't feel that personal. So in a way, don't think that I would still prefer drafting my own emails. I wouldn't use any AI software for now. And having said that, FT, we are not using any AI bots for customer communication in most cases.
All right. Thanks for the insight. I hope that answered your questions, Louis. We also got, I think, oh, first of all, Christopher is actually coming from Philippines. So you might have to catch up via a virtual coffee.
I'll send you a virtual
and
coffee.
and others here have a question. Do you find that people have different communication styles and preference? Some people prefer more direct ones, while some prefer the others. What do you think?
That's a very good point. So we have been through various training within our organization, and just to find out internally how we like to work with each other. So we do notice that different people, some people they are more introvert, some people are more extrovert, some people prefer the direct approach, and some people prefer the through emails or through chats. So even if internally, if we have that kind of problem, I'm sure externally there will be different people with different communication style as well. And depending on which region you're in, there's also different ways of communicating. Take for Japan, for example. A lot of them, they prefer to speak in Japanese. If you're not Japanese speaker, usually they don't really give you the time of day. And even in Thailand, people I'm trying to reach out to, just because of the English language, they prefer to communicate through email rather than through a phone call. Um, so yeah, I think definitely different people with different characters will have different communication styles, and that's where you have to try to figure out, build a relationship, and figure out.
Yeah, good. That's, I think that also somehow relates to what you mentioned earlier. You got to be personal without like utilizing too much or rely on the AI softwares nowadays. I'm pretty sure there's some good ones, but it is always case by case, I suppose. Yep, and thank you all. Fikarina, thank you for coming back again and share your comments and questions. So, do FT, based on your experience, use a customer classification that can guide every CSM in communicating to customer based on specific criteria or communication preferences?
So yes, we actually do.
Mhm.
So if just in case you still don't know, everything that you do on the internet can be tracked. So how long a customer spends on a website, what they're reading, all these can actually be tracked, and they from there we have an algorithm that will calculate and put them into different bins, such as a super reader, occasional reader, or maybe they have no cluster or no groups at all. So these are where we try to find out where the readers that we want to spend our time on, where the readers that we want to just check whether they're having issues with their account. So yes, we do have a classification for doing that.
Thank you. Again, we got another questions from Avinash. Um, how long or how often can we push emails or calls about features and new releases? Is there a line that customers they want to draw if they feel um, saturated about the product? How can we figure out if we are being too pushy? Is there a way in your preference in FT?
So like what I mentioned in the presentation, 3 is a magic number. So I will always base it around 3, be it a phone call or email. If the first time I tried calling I can't get through, that will be considered a first time. I'll follow up with an email and I'll try calling again. So that's my own personal preference, and that's based on my personal experience that I think 3 is the maximum. And even then, I do put like especially now with all the privacy emails, all the privacy laws, we still have to check to see whether a customer wants to be contacted. Which is why I try to make my emails personal, sound personal. It's not like a
Mhm.
marketing email. And I also put like just a line at the bottom of my signature saying that if you want to unsubscribe from this, just let me know and we'll stop emailing you. And in a way, I guess I would also prefer to. Well, I mean, if I have a choice, I don't want to be complained about. But if I have, but if that comes down, I would prefer to be complained that or someone reaches out to my manager and complain that I'm reaching out to them too much, they'll say that, oh, Lawrence, your customer success from FT is really reaching out to me too much. They stalking me. I'd rather have them remember me and remember my role, rather than they reach out to my company and saying, oh, who's the customer success manager? I don't even know who they are.
That's true. Well said. Thanks, Lawrence. And again, thank you all for putting up the questions. Thank you, Lewis, and thanks, Lawrence. He thinks the same. And yeah, we still have time for maybe one or two questions. So if you can put it up on the public chat here, it'd be great. And I suppose Lawrence can get back to you as soon as possible. But while you're still typing, is there any tips or one last tip that you can offer to the community members, apart from what you have mentioned at your presentation?
So I think having a great team to work with, people that you can really work well with, throw ideas around with, that's really helpful and important. Be it just your local area or within your global team. Uh, as I said, just exchanging ideas. Sometimes some ideas you never thought of and they've already been using for a long time. It might just work for you without knowing it. And just finding out how they do it there within the region will be really useful as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Lawrence. Again, if you have some follow-up questions or conversations that you would like to discuss with Lawrence, please feel free to connect with Lawrence here with his LinkedIn, or maybe send him a quick email. I'm sure Lawrence will be happy to connect with you and then answer your other questions. And then again, please feel free to join our customer success community. It's a place that we build up, just to get everyone together in a virtual room and then share experience, knowledge. I'll just put up the link here in the public chat in case you are not in it yet. So without further ado, I would like to take this chance and again thank you, Lawrence, for your presentation and the whole live Q&A session. You have done a fantastic job. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and thanks for everyone's tuning in. I'll look forward to meeting all of you in our next session, which is the last one of the Customer Success Festival APAC. And again, thank you for everyone still staying here with us. Thanks, Etienne. Thank you, Avinash. Take care. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.